Hello, folks. Click anytime to view the post on YouTube. Okay. Well, there it is. We are going live. How the heck are you? Welcome, everybody. As I have been promising, if you've been paying attention, we are going to do our best to do a live stream every week and ask me anything here on dottotech on the channel. So I am going live. Hey, oh, good. Now I'm doing something a little bit different today as we are testing out this technology world. I am using Ecamm Live to present today. So I think there's going to be about a 20-second delay from me to you. So I might not be quite as responsive in chat as I hoped. But the cool thing is they have added YouTube Live to Ecamm, so it's not just an RTMP feed going through now, technical talk for it's not just a stream going through the feed, but there's two-way conversation happening back and forth. Thank you very much, Cristiano. There's a two-way conversation going back and forth, so I can actually see your comments here in Ecamm. Now I don't know how responsive it's going to be. Oh, it's good. It's getting a thumbs up. But I can see that we've got Networking 26 here. We've got Kyle Gaming. How are you, John? PJ's here just for you travel. How you doing, PJ? I did work out this morning. PJ's my trainer. Reverend Eddie Rivero's here. Pete Ziegler. Hi, everybody. Welcome. So the Brian is here. Hey, from Winnipeg. Oh, the hockey game hasn't started. That's why people from Winnipeg are watching. They'll be bailing as soon as that hockey game starts. This is fantastic. So now, do I have a count? I'm just kind of poking my head around. I don't see an actual count of how many you're in the room here, but if I head over back to YouTube, I can probably see it there, but it's all messed up. So actually there, I will check those numbers a little bit later. All right. And good. So we're just going to fiddle up around a few things. So these are Ask Me Anything. So looking forward to your questions and comments, working on a couple I'll tell you what I'm working on in my life, and then you can decide what you want to ask about. You know, we've been really hitting the production side hard here on dottotech for the last little while. And as a result, I am reevaluating some of our processes and setting things up in our productivity things. And I just got off the phone with my good buddy Mike Vardy, who is known as the Productivityist. And he and I were talking about Slack. How many of you use Slack? Give me a thumbs up for those of you that are using Slack. But we use Asana as well for all of our project management for planning our videos. And Asana is adding so many new features these days to their tool that we are thinking that we might be able to use Asana for all of our conversations instead of Slack. So we might actually be able to drop an entire piece of infrastructure from our team. I'm a little afraid to do it. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on it. So there we go. What's on tap today? So we're going to talk a little bit about productivity stuff. As I said, Pete, how the heck are you? And so I'd love to hear what you guys are wondering about. We did so well last week with our vlog post. I posted on Google I.O. You all saw that, didn't you? Not necessarily our vlog post, but you saw Google's announcement at Google I/O. It was just ahead of this Laurel, or what's the echo thing that you hear one thing, Laurel, or I don't know, Mork and Mindy. I can't remember what it was. But the Google I/O thing was the big furor online before this alternate hearing thing, where Google released Duplex, Showcase Duplex. The technology that's built into Google. The Google Assistant, which is coming. It's not already here yet, but can basically parse out a real conversation with people in real time. And they showed an example of it booking a hair appointment, and frankly, it was terrifying beyond words because we just wouldn't. You would literally get a phone call from this, and you wouldn't know whether you're talking to a person or if you were talking to a person or if you were talking to a computer. And so, I mean, we're at the point now where our community, where those of us here, have to start really telling the creators, telling Google and Facebook and Microsoft and Apple et al. What we expect as far as the capabilities and how we expect it to impact our lives, because something like this can have a profound impact. When you see Google working on that and you see how they're working on the robots, all of a sudden you start really worrying about just where artificial intelligence is going. And who's been warning us about that big time is Elon Musk. He's been complaining or warning us about the dangers of artificial intelligence for quite some time. And for the first time, seeing that with the Google I/O, it sent shivers down my back. It absolutely sent shivers down my back. So Sherry says you're not getting a delay in audio. I don't think there'll be a delay in audio. I misspoke perhaps. I think that there might be a 20-second delay between what I'm sending here and what you're receiving on the other end. And I wonder if I can monitor that, not at that, because it's got the feed up here. Let me just poke around on my computer here for just a wee moment while we do this. And I wonder if I can view this differently, because I'm in a... There we go. There we go. And there looks like there's a little bit of a delay here. So I can see a different feed here. Okay, good. So I've got a slight delay. So I don't see your chat come through in Ecamm in the same. You'll be commenting, and it'll be a little bit out of sync with what I'm saying. Okay, so let's get into some questions. And the whole idea behind an AMA, and Ask Me Anything, is that you can ask me anything that you're interested in, and I will respond as best I can. I apologize if I miss any of your comments or questions, but I'll do the best to kind of work through them as we see them here. So let's take a look here. So, Laurel and Yanni, you're absolutely right. What did you hear? I just want to hear it. I heard Yanni all the time, but then when I heard it on television and I'm playing it back, I heard Laurel. So there we go. Sherry, what are the differences between Asana and Slack? They're both productivity tools. So Asana is a team and task manager and project manager. So it's very much like a Trello. It's a to-do list manager, but it can be very elaborate as far as the type of projects that it creates. Slack is a communications module. It really should replace email for Teams, and that's one of the ways that we position it the most. So it's like Facebook Messenger on steroids, where you can set up Teams and you can manage your conversations. It's the beauty of Slack is when you work with a team is it moves you all out of email. So you aren't in the store and forward, but you're in a chat metaphor that allows you to much more effectively communicate. So it really replaces email for a lot of team-based communications, and it's got some great productivity gains there. Now, the thing that's causing me pause is Asana, the task management side of our business, of how we build our stuff. They've integrated team conversations. And when you're in the middle of a project, like when we're editing a video, we're all in a task. And if there's any comments that my team members have relating to that video specifically, they all end up in the same task. They all come kind of compartmentalized there. And it works very well as a conversation management tool there. So now what's happening is all of our general conversations are happening in Slack, but our specific conversations on projects and videos are happening in Asana. So they also have a general chat area within Asana. So my thinking is maybe we should just be moving the entire conversation into there. I'm wondering what we'll give up on Slack. That's my concern. I'd love to hear any experience that you folks have on that space there. That would be great to hear. Hello, Eddie from Washington. Welcome aboard. Janet, I don't know Slack. You're so glad that you're going to be doing this hour on this day. I can join, and it is good. We're going to be playing around with the hours and the time. I did it earlier in the day the first time. I'm doing a little later today. So I'm going to try and make them on Fridays, which I think is a good day. And I'll kind of move around the time. And sometimes life will get in the way and we'll start at a different time. We're going to keep this as a fairly loose broadcast, the Ask Me Anything. Our rigid broadcast where I've prepared and I've got slides and I'm on topic is our Webinar Wednesdays. And if you haven't joined up for Webinar Wednesday, go to dottotech.com and there you can find a link to Webinar Wednesday and sign up. Next week, we're talking about disconnecting. We're talking about basically how to take digital sabbaticals and taking time away from work and avoiding the fear of missing out. I've got a good friend, Vicky McLeod, joining us, who's written a book on trending, where she talks about the joys of not being connected for a period of time. I personally don't know what that's like. It's going to be a bit of a voyage of discovery for me, talking with Vicky about that. But Webinar Wednesdays will continue to be vertical topics, and these Ask Me Anythings, which I'm going to do on YouTube Live on a weekly basis, are going to be far more open format as far as that goes. 96 people, this is great. We've got a goodly number of people on board. This is awesome sauce. Yeah, 91 people on board. It's great. This is what I want. Good. Okay. Oh, so let me get in. Testing transmission time. Say, kid. Brian's asked me to say, pad, kid, poured, curd, pulled, cold. And I'll tell you what I heard you say. I have no idea what that's going to be. Oh my God, it's late here in Germany. Pete, I understand. Yeah. It is late. It is late in the day. What time is it? It's just about 2:00 here. Normally we'll try and start it a little bit earlier. There we go. I'm taking a look here. Questions. Some of you heard of Laurel. History Terp heard Laurel. Very good. One of my questions, what are your thoughts on the brand new application Notion? Funny you should bring that up. It is so Notion has captured a lot of people's imagination. Who was it that asked that? That was Keep Productive. Yeah, it is Francesco is the person. Francesco, I have been looking at it just briefly. I haven't actually taken the plunge and started to use it yet, but I hear a lot of people are throwing over Evernote for it. A lot of people are finding it to be a really valuable additional tool. It's certainly caught the attention of a lot of the productivity community. I don't know about you, but I always have trouble whenever a good new tool comes along like this. I am so entrenched with so many of my different processes that for me to evaluate a new productivity tool means that I have to kind of break my ongoing day-to-day rhythm of things and try to insert a new product. And it's very disruptive. It's worthwhile at the end because I learn a lot about the products. And as a matter of fact, I just went through it. For the last 3-4 weeks, I've been embracing Google Keep, which is a very simple notepad. But it's still, I thought that, frankly, Evernote might be a little bit jealous if I did it. But I did embrace it, used it, and found that I really like Keep, and I found how to integrate it. And now I know I can tell the story of what the strengths and weaknesses are of it. And actually, we have a video coming out next week. So Notion, I am just at the beginning point of looking at, but I'd love to hear what you think of it. If there's anybody on here using it, tell us and give us the thumbs up or thumbs down whether or not Notion is a tool that you're using. I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Hello, Samuel Burnett from Alabama and Gerald Jung from YYC from Victoria. Good for you. And Hugh all the way from London, England. Did Google ever restore the calendar quick entry method, Barry? No, I have not seen that in Google Calendar. That seems to be gone and perhaps never to return. Steve asks, do you still use Todoist or you anymore or just in Asana? No, I'm not using Todoist anymore for anything. Nope, it's not part of my mix now. Everything's in Asana. We've really gone deep in the Asana pool. I'm not using Todoist anymore. And it's not that Todoist is a bad app. And people think sometimes when they hear people like me saying that that they've thrown over an app and they're not using it anymore, that it's somehow bringing into question the value of said app. It's not. Todoist is a great app. It's a wonderful app. It's not as team-based, I don't believe, as Asana. And for us, a lot of it's timing. 1 year ago, at the start of 2017, when we were revamping our entire production process, and I hired new team members, I was looking for a system that was going to work for us. And Asana was just coming online with their new version, which allowed you to have, very much like Trello, so it allowed you to have kind of a Kanban column to interface. And I was exploring it for a video, and I really liked it, and I started to build what we were doing in it. And so it organically grew into the tool with us, just because its new capabilities came along just when we could take advantage of those capabilities. So that's really where it came from. If it hadn't come along at that time, there's a very good chance we'd be a Trello shop right now, or possibly even Todoist would be the one that we're using. But that's how I ended up in Asana. Like to hear what you use. MC says, what do you think about Microsoft Surface Book 2? Is it a good product to buy in your opinion? I love the Microsoft Surface product. I think they've done an outstanding job. I think they're overpriced right now. I can't understand why they're not doing better, but I'm really excited to hear that Microsoft is bringing in a much lower cost version that's going to compete directly with all of the different tablets out there. So I think that the Surface interface is brilliant. Are you using it, MC? Are you loving it? I'd like to hear. A while back, you said that you were looking to get an NAS, a network storage device. Did you settle on one, and which one? Yes and no. We were looking at getting one primarily because we needed a video server to handle all of the additional work, that production work that we're doing in video. And as we noodled around with the different solutions, we found that we could actually just use Dropboxes effectively for what we were looking for. Now, it's not as good a viable backup solution, etc. But as far as sending our video files, of the size of video file that we're creating, back and forth between my editor and myself, and my editor is Liz, and she happens to live in England. It doesn't really matter where she lives. It's just not in the office next door, so we can't go on a local network. We found that solution worked for us. So I saved the money and didn't pull the trigger and buy one. I found that to be a very stressful decision-making process, going through all the different network storage devices, trying to decide which one I thought would be a good fit for us. So I ended up just not buying anything. So that was, I went digital. I went online for my solution. I don't know if it's the best solution, best long-term solution. And so now we're just manually backing up the videos that we have to onto a local hard drive. And so I don't have anything too elaborate in place right now. Hello from Australia, Jeff. Keep up the good work. I will do my best. And Christian from Denmark, how are you? Yes, indeed. So African Leopard says, Evernote Plus plan is officially discontinued, but you are subscribed to it. You can keep on having it as long as you auto-renew, but no new subscriptions. I did not know that. So that's Evernote's middle term product. That's too bad to hear. Yeah. There are a lot of rumors about Evernote. I heard today from someone that should know that there's a little bit of conversation with Google acquiring Evernote. Can you imagine? That'd be an interesting move, wouldn't it? Yes. MC, yes, love it. Oh, good. Good to hear, MC. Yeah, everybody that I know that has the Microsoft Surface loves it. Here's the issue that I had with the Surface that I had, is I found the screen density to be too high. I couldn't make the font comfortable for me to read. I found it very difficult to read with my eyesight. And I'm sure that probably was just me not understanding how to set up the accessibility and to make everything larger. But I found it was very tight and very small. Yes. Yeah, just got it. And I think it's a keeper. Good to hear. Afo Ansar. Howdy from Edmonton. Did I say that right? Is that how it's pronounced? Afo Ansar? Love my channel. Thanks so much. Love Edmonton. Love Edmonton. Glad I don't live there. Just because of the weather, not because of the people. People are awesome. LastPass versus KeePass. Any comments? Barry, I will give you a comment. I use LastPass and love LastPass. LastPass is a password management tool, and I was very concerned about LastPass about a year and a half ago when they got acquired by LogMeIn. LogMeIn was not a company that I'd had great experiences with in the past, to be perfectly honest. And as opposed to be perfectly lying, which I typically do on the channel, right? But no, LastPass was acquired by LogMeIn, and I got cold feet about it because LastPass is, as I say, password management, and I was using it to manage all of my passwords. And so I started to explore some other options. Now, KeePass wasn't the one that I kind of settled on. I settled on 1Password for one very good reason. I settled on 1Password because it's a Canadian company, and I was being a little bit jingoistic. And I showcased it on the channel. And they're both excellent products. And for quite some time, I used 1Password primarily, but I kept dabbling with LastPass to see how it was evolving with their new owners. Well, darn it all, if they didn't release a really, really well-implemented upgrade to LastPass, and if everything that I saw coming from them, including when they had a slight breach in security, how they handled it, didn't impress me. So I'm back in LastPass now and using it, and it's such a convenient tool for us to use with our whole team, because when I have to log into an account, or I have an account that I have to give a team member access to, I can give them access through LastPass, and I don't compromise our security. And they've gone well beyond just giving password management to getting into providing other life security things like protecting your credit cards. And even one of the features that I like the most is a kind of a lifeline, a digital lifeline that they've got, that if you're incapacitated for any reason, you can set up a person who you give access to all of your accounts so they can log in and manage your accounts if you're unable. So if you die suddenly, or if you're incapacitated for any reason, like giving your spouse, a loved one, or business partner access to the key accounts that they have to have access to, that's a brilliant, useful solution. Now, I'm sure KeePass has a lot of these things built in, and I don't want to disparage it in any way, but I'm willing to endorse and say LastPass has got these tools, and I'm very happy with how we're using them. It is just great. Now, I'm going to apologize to you all if I miss I see quite a few comments going on, if I miss them, because I'm not really good at both reading and answering at the same time, so I'll just answer and then I'll dive back in to do some reading. Good stuff. Greetings from Chattanooga, Tennessee from Mark. I just found the channel, love it. We're glad that you found us. And hello from Greece. And with all of those Cyrillic characters, I have no idea how to pronounce that name, but welcome from Greece as well. Christopher Murray, as you mentioned on LastPass, are you using the free version or the paid version? I use the paid version, but it doesn't cost very much. It's like $3 a month or something. It's a ridiculously low price. Well, I think I bought the family plan, so maybe it's $5 a month. But I am using the paid version. Their pricing is very, very reasonable. Cramerica Business Solution. We're having problems with LastPass. We're sharing, but sometimes the staff can't get into the client's accounts. Okay, I don't know. That's something I would definitely take up with them. First I've heard of it. We've never extended it too far. Like my LastPass community of people I share with are like 4 people. So it's not like we're really testing it to its max. I can't come in on my Evernote accounts after I changed my phone number. Do you know how I can do something with that? Now, if you're having any issues with Evernote as far as your account, you would just reach out to them, to their technical support people. I'm sure they can help you. But it sounds to me like you're just having trouble logging in, and it's probably just an authorization issue. So just reach out directly to Evernote. Steve, hello from Bristol. Hello. And from Elk Grove, California, Dennis. Hello, how are you doing? Richard says, interesting. Google and Evernote. Will Evernote keep developing at pace? We want to use one app for collaboration and notes and doc storage. Evernote is such a rich and full-featured product. I'm not sure that their development has to continue to develop new and innovative features. There's a lot of features that the Evernote community is clamoring for that will make a profound difference in Evernote's future. Most important, I would say, is the ability to encrypt information, adding layers of security to Evernote. That's probably the most important single thing that Evernote has to address, and it's the single biggest hole in their toolkit. And I don't think that requires an awful lot. It requires a commitment on their side to choose a path. So I think that they would be fine from that perspective there. So a single app for collaboration, notes, and document storage. Evernote for Business might well be a great solution for you. It really depends on your workflow. It's a hard thing to advise, but Evernote for Business would be certainly worth looking at. Take a look at Asana too. We've been talking about Asana. Asana does an awful lot. It's not so great for document storage, but as far as collaboration and notes, it's pretty darn good. Greetings from Coling, California. Changed my life. Thank you. Yes, indeed. LastPass is going to be $24 a year soon, I think, which is, that's $2 a month. Pretty affordable. Wadi, I am from Norway. Hi, Wadi. I am from Vancouver. Jay, good afternoon from Cisco, Texas. Good afternoon, sir. Bright Blogger says, I'm using OneDrive for business and sharing and backups. Any benefits of using Dropbox too? Thanks. No, I don't see the point. There might be the odd feature that Dropbox does, but if you start using Dropbox as well as OneDrive and you've got all your stuff in OneDrive, you're going to start having this conversation go on in your head as you're about to do something. Did I store that in Dropbox or OneDrive? And then you're going to waste 15, 20 seconds looking in both places. If you've got one that you're happy with, stay with it. There's always going to be features in an other application that makes sense for you. And they're like siren songs saying, come, it's way prettier on this side, but it does the same things. So just, stay with the one that you're using if you're happy with it. If you're not happy with the service or there's a profound reason, to change because you go to a different team and everybody else uses another tool, then switch. But if not, I can't see any good reason to switching to Dropbox. There we go. Gilbert, can you make a small video to present an easy and effective way to make backups or images of the PC has at regular frequency? I suppose I could, honestly, I could do that. But if you look on YouTube right now, there's probably about 300,000 videos that kind of explain it. I would just look for that. Honestly, it's not something that's going to be high up on my list of priorities. Not because I don't think it's a valuable video, but it doesn't excite me, and I don't think I'm the expert on that stuff. So, when I look at my list of videos that I want to spend energy and time on, that's not going to make it to the top of my list, even though I recognize the value. But I also know that you're very well served with other things because my opinion isn't really going to add too much value there. I hope I made sense there. Can you recommend a resource? Dennis is asking, can I represent a resource for learning WordPress? Yes. WP Beginner? Is that it? WP Beginner? In its Syad's group. I think it's called WP Beginner. When you're searching for WordPress stuff, if you're looking for like WordPress tutorials, you can type in WordPress, but just type in WP. Because there's a lot of content that's built around that. But WP Beginner, I think, or WP Tutorial, they've got some great resources for learning WordPress. And again, YouTube is a great resource for it. And buckle up your chin strap because it's a little bit of the Wild West in WordPress. It's not a hard basic thing to learn. But once you get into using it and implementing it, the subtleties between different versions and different themes that you choose will cause you some anxiety and anguish as you move ahead. Our whole website just went down when one of our plugins didn't work properly, and poor Dave Hathaway, who runs our website, had like 4 hours worth of trying to fix things to figure out just so that people could see how many people had shared our posts on Facebook. It drove me a bit crazy. There we go. All right. James, Steve, my name is James from San Diego, and I've been following you for a couple of years. Thanks for the great content. Thank you. Love going to San Diego. Get there every year, at least once for social media marketing world. Hoping to come back again. Wasam, hello from Lebanon. Steve, have you ever used zero-knowledge storage like SpiderOak, or do you think Google Drive and Dropbox might introduce zero-knowledge into their solutions? I'm not too sure. If zero knowledge is full security and fully encrypted storage, I'm sure that that's something that they are going to be looking at. The challenge is that you have if you're using something like a Google Drive for storage, is one of the benefits of a tool like Google Drive is the search capability. So you've got all these documents that you're storing, but to find them quickly, you want to use search. Well, the nature of that relationship means that Google has to find a way to crawl through the document to be able to search the document. So if you want them to be completely secure, then you can't search within them. Does that make sense? There's always a balancing act that we have when we're with all of this news that we're having. When we're looking at how Google shares our information and has access. Anytime we give up privacy, we're giving it up for one of two reasons. We're giving it up for entertainment, or we're giving it up for convenience. That's why we give up our knowledge. That's why we give things up. So that's where all of the Cambridge Analytica stuff happened in Facebook. People were giving up their privacy primarily for entertainment. They were signing up for those silly polls. Which Sound of Music character are you? I am a Maria. How do you like that? But all of a sudden you shared all this information and gave them permission to crawl through your entire Facebook profile. And now they know all this about you, but you had your entertainment. Not really a fair exchange, was it? However, now we're talking about online storage. They're going to store some stuff for us for free or for a very small price. And now we have to determine first of all, they should not be looking at that information for marketing purposes at all. If they are, it's wrong. They know it, we know it, and we hope they don't do it. But even so, we have to make a determination whether they're going to give up a little of that privacy in order to allow them to crawl through it for the benefits of search. Now it's for our productivity. That's the balancing act we have to give. So I don't know if they're going to add that to their, if I am indeed interpreting your question correctly, but I suspect that they can't do it and still provide the other services they need to do. I hope I made sense. I'm not the expert on that, though. That's pretty much just opinion. Giselle, can I use single user profile for LastPass? I have accounts registered through multiple emails. Does that matter? Or do I need to sign up for Family Pack? You can use it in any way. I mean, you could certainly use a single user profile for LastPass. I don't know about the vagaries of your situation and what your relationship is with LastPass and having accounts already registered and how that impacts you creating a new account by email. But yeah, you can, Family Pass is convenient because it automatically creates some integration between spouses, like for shared accounts, and then it's a single place to pay for all of the accounts. So that's the kind of, that's the advantages there. Spear App says, do you have any likes and dislikes about GDPR? Yes, I do. I'm from Canada. And we went through GDPR 4 years ago, basically, very close to. Although GDPR is a little more sophisticated in its application and a little more aggressive in its fining structure. But so for those of you that don't know, GDPR is the General Data Protection Regulations. Is that it? Anyways, it's about privacy online, and it goes a little bit beyond what the CAN-SPAM laws and what we had here in Canada, in the fact that it doesn't just protect you from people spamming you and gathering your email address incorrectly. But if I'm correct in all the reading I've done, it also gives you rights to reach out to companies and have a say in what happens to your data within their data banks. You can have all of your data removed if you choose, and you can also ask any company at any time exactly what information they have on you, and they have to provide it within a reasonable window of time. So those are kind of two unique aspects of GDPR, which I think are quite encouraging, and give some ownership of us back to us. So I'm all for it. As far as changes made for the online marketing community, for the people like myself who have large mail lists, I didn't have to make very many changes to our systems at all. We had to add a new checkbox to allow for permission, and we have to change our policy, update our privacy policy, and we just have to make sure that we're responsive if anybody asks for any information to be purged from the system, or for us to provide information to them. And part of that is the technical capabilities of our email provider, of our service provider, which in my case is Infusionsoft, which is adding some new functionality to the tool to allow us to be GDPR compliant. I'm all for it. I think it makes us more responsible online marketers. The biggest frustration, not the biggest, I have lots of big frustrations. I won't go into an entire list of them right now, but WP Beginner, yes. But I won't go into my entire list of frustrations, but one of the frustrations that I have from my business perspective is how hard I have to work to engender trust with the community, because so many people who do things similar to me are not trustworthy. So we have to work really hard to build a level of trust. GDPR means that everybody is now, we're all kind of, it's forcing the people who do less than ethical practices to get on with the program or pay the price. I don't hate that. As a matter of fact, I like that a lot. So overall, I'm pretty supportive of it. I think it's going to cause some headaches. There's going to be some mistakes. It's going to cause some gnashing of teeth. But overall, I like the fact that we're having this dialogue, and I applaud the European Union for doing something about it, protecting their citizens. Good on them. Good on them. Okay, so I saw here, zero knowledge is technology where your files and information are saved in a way that even the company hosting your files cannot preview without the key, which is your password. So there it is. I was right, and that's what causes it causes the search issue. That's the biggest one. Yeah, Olinda.com, good choice just for your travel. Thank you for that recommendation for WordPress beginners. Update on Farley. Steve is asking for update on Farley and his latest experience with the Kona Shame. Farley is sitting under my desk right now, as happy as can be. He doesn't even remember. Farley, for those of you that don't know, had knee surgery because he tore his ACL 3 weeks ago. And then shortly after our wedding, he ate a microfiber rag and had to have surgery to save his life because he would have died because it was stuck in his lower intestine and partially into his bowel. It was disgusting. But he is all on the mend. He's off his painkillers. His stitches come out early next week, and he's back on solid food, and he is just seems to be the old Farley. He's just as big a pain in the ass as he ever was. So we're all happy. Yes, he's causing much. Everybody but the cat. The cat's not so happy. The cat is, and thank you so much for asking. Okay, let us look here, making sure I'm not missing any of these. Madi, can I use Facebook Live and YouTube Live at the same time on my iPhone? No. Mainly because of Facebook Live. Facebook doesn't want any live broadcasts shared on multiple platforms while it's on their platform. It's kind of in their terms of service. But if you're on a computer like I am right now, you can create a stream and you can actually stream to multiple services using a variety of different tools if you choose to. Now, here's the challenge, though, if you think about it. Here we're doing a YouTube Live. It's a conversation. If I have to manage 2 chat conversations at the same time, it's going to be difficult. I'm not sure that there's a lot of margin in doing it that way. I think if maybe it's a concert or something and people are not interacting with the host, that's one thing. But if you're trying to create community and a dialogue, I don't think it would be all that great to have both at the same time. That's just my opinion on it. How can I create a simple social media report from, this is King Mafunnel Television. I'm not too sure. I use Agora Pulse as my main social media dashboard, and it creates all sorts of wonderful reports for me. So you might want to check out Agora Pulse. Full disclosure, I'm an Agora Pulse ambassador, but I'm also a user. There we go. African leopards. WordPress works until it doesn't. You might want to make a t-shirt that says that. WordPress works until it doesn't. Well said. Do you have a consumer level paid solution that you recommend for web blog hosting? No, I don't. Several have reached out to me and asked me to be affiliates, people like Bluehost. But I've never found I haven't yet found a web hosting service that I'm willing to rave about and to say, we're happy with the one we're using right now, but I want to give it a little while more. We've only been on them for a couple of months. So no, I don't have any recommendations there. I think, check the reviews, check what other people are saying, but I would be reluctant to recommend. Even though one of them has offered me money to recommend them, I'm not going to do that yet. BBC 600. I remember watching your TV show as a kid. As a kid, when I was on SCN. They're in Saskatchewan? Yes. SCN was one of the original, back in the early days of my broadcasting career, we had a show called Dotto's Data Cafe, and that show was on the educational networks in Canada, and SCN was one of our broadcasters. We loved SCN. They were a great broadcast partner. How the heck you doing? All right. Wow, now I will never know. Andreas. I'm not too sure what Andreas is talking about, but maybe it's because I didn't answer a question the way he wanted, or she wanted. Andreas, I think it's a man. Okay. Mac. The latest release of WordPress will automatically process to provide the information. Okay. I'm not too sure what that's about. Spear App. Thank you for sharing about GDPR. We have similar feelings about it so far. Agreed then. Steve. What lower priced tablet would you recommend for using Todoist, Evernote, Sales Now, Kindle, and Audible? I've just got an iPad that I use, but since the iPhones became this size, the plus size, I very seldom use my tablet. I use it as a TV, kind of having TV on in the background while I'm working, so I don't really have a strong recommendation there. Oh, Smooth Prepper is throwing Steve under the bus. What do I think of Bitcoin? I should have made you do a super chat for that, because now I'm gonna get political. I think it's awful. I can see the political benefit and the ramifications to Bitcoin and the taking some power away from the IMF and all of the in how power gets abused and money relates to power. I can see the democratization of funds and the benefit. But my God, it wastes a lot of energy. And really, that far more than most people realize is how much energy is being consumed driving these Bitcoin farms. To what end? So I'm not a big fan of it. I think that it's created more instability in the world, in the marketplace, and I think it's environmentally a freaking disaster. That's my opinion. And one of my best friends, not one of my best friends, a close friend, does the crypto podcast. And I know that he's a big fan of it, but I'm not such a big fan. There it is. Next time I do a political comment like that, I'm going to have to get paid for it. All right. Giselle, love Dotto's Data Cafe. Thank you so much, Giselle. We love doing it. I miss the team. I don't miss doing the TV show. I miss being part of that team. We had such a good group of people that worked on it. Christian, do I have an opinion on Workflowy? No, I haven't used it. Sorry, don't have one. Peter Busco watched it too. I'm glad to hear that. Vinicius Tavares? What a great name. Vinicius. Did I say it right? Awesome channel, Steve. You're an inspiration to me and, of course, to all of us. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Smooth Pepper, thanks. What do you think of Bitcoin? You've asked me. What do you think, sir? Hello, favorite YouTuber from Michael. Hello to you, Michael, as well. Good. And it looks like we're running down low on questions. How long have I been on the air? Does it tell me over here? It should. Still getting used to these tools. Just a minute. I've been on the air for 40 minutes. Time has flown. I've been on the air for 40 minutes. I kind of like the idea of keeping these things under an hour. So I'll give you a few more seconds for any last questions, but we will wrap things up pretty quickly. Do you like these AMAs? Do you like just being able to ask any questions? And do you find it interesting, this eclectic mix of opinion in the world of tech? I'd sure like to know. I guess the numbers will tell as we go on whether or not we continuously have people showing up and having conversations. Yes, Vinicius is a kind of Greek stuff, but I go by Vinny. Okay, Vinny, good to know. Thank you. Thank you, John. Excellent. Everybody, good. Well, technical report. Using Ecamm Live for this broadcast was dead simple. I just went to broadcast, and the chat has been working fine. Now, for the most part, I've monitored the chat in the channel itself, but I can also see, I've also got here. Next time, we might end up, because I can also do screen sharing and stuff like this as well here. I wasn't ready to do that, didn't feel like doing that today, but that's kind of the next evolution, is trying to bring some more media elements into it. But I am happy with this. And this feels good. This feels like a nice, quick conversation, nice kind of sitting around chat. Feel like I should have a coffee instead of a water as I'm doing it. So let me just, a whole bunch more questions. Love this approach. Need more lead time. Barry, that's a good thing. I want to schedule it, and I think I would like to schedule it, but I don't want it to be an official thing. I don't want this to become as structured as a webinar. So that's why I just kind of went live. There is a place for me to schedule in YouTube, and I just have to see how that integration works with scheduling it in YouTube and how it launches. I'm just a little bit concerned about the handshake going from Ecamm into it. But we'll test that out next week. We'll give at least maybe an hour or so notification beforehand. I don't want it to be a couple of days because I don't think this is destination viewing. I think it's convenience viewing. But I will check that out. But thanks for the feedback. I love hearing that sort of stuff. I don't know when WordPress 5 is coming. I don't stay up to date on that. Sorry for that. I don't have any more on that. Modi. Bright Blogger. Really interesting to hear your clear and instant views. Thanks, Steve. Excellent to hear. Christian, thank you. This is super cool. DJW 1500. Will you ever tour the country and visit the fans in other cities? Please come to Cincinnati so we can meet you sometime. I do come to those cities when I'm invited out for a speaking gig. And so if there's a conference or something that invites me out to speak, I would love to come to Cincinnati. That's a place that I would definitely like to visit. Indeed. Thank you for that. Okay. Scott, Steve, not a tech question, so maybe the wrong place, but how are your workouts going? How long did it take me to recover from my burpees? Okay, for those of you that don't know, a month ago I did a 1,000 burpee challenge, and they weren't 100% burpees; they were kind of modified. I did them onto a little ledge, but I did it to raise money for my local gym and for the local hospital, and because I didn't know if I could do it, and I did 1,000 burpees. It took me an hour and a half to do them. I was pretty tired at the end, but I was very, very happy. Parts of me were very sore afterwards. I'll tell you, parts that you don't expect to be sore. The big muscles, my back, my butt, my legs, they were fatigued, but they weren't all that sore. What was sore for days afterwards and even weeks were my wrists, my shoulders. the joints that took the pressure. And actually my little pinky finger. I guess I was pushing up all the time. But that's what took the longest to recover from. But it was just such a wonderful affirmation we had such a great turnout. We raised all the money we wanted. I was able to do it. And I still work out. I work out 6 days a week and continue that journey. I have a vlog talking about my health journey. I was diagnosed with diabetes type 2 about a year ago, and how I've made significant changes to my diet and to my exercise regimen as a result, and it's still going on. But thank you very much for asking about that, Scott. I'm happy to share that, because I know that it helps other people that are facing the same kind of health issues that so many of us baby boomers are facing. NLTMW says, yes, it's great to see you live streaming, inspiring me to get my stuff together and share some of my adventures online. Looking forward to seeing them. Love the AMA style, African leopards, and glad to hear that. Richard likes it a lot. Very interesting. From Lytham St. Anne's in the UK. Thanks for the Evernote response. Happy to. Like the concept. Good to see. I'm through. Daryl, how are you doing? Really love this. Keep it going. Daryl is a fledgling YouTube publisher herself. I was just checking out your channel, Daryl. Good. What do I think of Ethereum? Same thing as I think of Bitcoin. I'm just not big fans of any of that stuff right now. You told us about Podio a while ago back, but I have no idea how powerful and awesome it was. Well, that's good to hear. I'm glad to hear that, Diane. That's good to know. What do you use for data analysis? I just use reports that other systems generate for me. I'm not really big into data crunching too much. So, Peter, I don't do too much of that. John, send out a blast email because you get busy and have time. Well, that's an interesting point, John. I know I started to wrap things up, and I did a false close, didn't I, as I was trying to wrap things up, but then this flurry of questions came through. I'm not sure I'm happy to do that, John. So we're talking about promoting this AMA so that more people come in and join us. And John's saying to send out an email, but we have 38,000 people on our email list right now, and I'm pretty sure all of them aren't going to appreciate getting an email that I'm going to be doing this kind of warm and fuzzy thing. So that is something that I'm going to table for now. I'm sure we would get a lot more numbers as a result, but I'm not sure that I want to let everybody know. Anybody who is interested in enjoying it, make sure you're subscribed to my YouTube channel. And if you hit the notification bell in the subscription, then you'll always be notified when I do go live. So you will get a notification. And so that's kind of where I'm comfortable with taking this now, but maybe it'll grow. We'll see. Diane, I've been struggling with a Microsoft project and integrations. Is there anything like Podio that I should know about for running my real estate and wholesaling business? No, I'm not. It sounds to me like you're deeper into the pool than I am there, so I don't really have any good suggestions for it, but I'm glad that it's working out for you. What do I think about the Google Home Mini? I like it. I'm scared of what it's gathering, but I find it quite convenient. We're going to be doing, so I've got a nice video where I reviewed the Google Home. If you check out the YouTube channel, it's there. I can give you my thoughts on it. They haven't changed since I released that video. We're going to get an Amazon Alexa. I'm ordering one in the next week or two. I'm going to be testing it out and comparing the two. But I'm willing to share a little bit of privacy for convenience, and I quite like the Google Home. We've integrated it into our life quite nicely. Mainly as a music player. We just walk into a room and ask it to start playing music, and we're enjoying that quite a bit. Although Shannon gets quite frustrated. Finding some nice music in the evening that's restful enough for her, she hasn't quite hit on the playlists. And sometimes she gets a little strident with it, and she said some nasty things to poor Google. I'm sure it'll recover, though. There must be a way on YouTube because some folks have been starting with 2-hour countdowns. Yeah, I think there is, and I will explore that a little bit more to give more of a heads up. That's a worthy suggestion. Thank you for the nice live broadcasting, Modi. Thank you as well. What do I think of Linux? Smooth Prepper asks. I think it's awesome if you're willing to dive into that and you really want the open source experience and you're still a little techie and geeky and you still get excited about that stuff. For most of us, it's a little too close. It's a little too do-it-yourself, but there's still a place for it, that's for sure. What are you using again to record this? Jackie's asking. Well, YouTube Live does the recording itself, but I'm broadcasting through a tool called Ecamm Live on a Mac. It's only a Mac-only product, but it's a broadcast studio that allows you to bring different like little keys like my little name and stuff like over the top like that, and to broadcast to a variety of different services, including YouTube Live and Facebook Live, and even to some webinar tools. Gerald, thanks, Steve. Enjoy the health story, too. Got me going. Good, Gerald, you go. You go to, I say this in the health vlog when I talked about it, and a lot of people have commented on the truth of it, but you only have yourself to rely on when it comes to your health. And I think that too many of us abjure the responsibility of our own personal well-being. And we think that drugs or the doctor or a family member, somebody that is responsible for how we feel and how we are. But it's us. And so you take ownership, and I'm glad to see that you're doing that. And it's a good step. It's the right thing to do. Mark, a fellow baby boomer, I like this stuff very much. This is a cool forum. Keep it up. I will, Mark. Thank you very much, Mark Chapin. Nobby Kleinman. I just found your warm and fuzzy by accident, even though I am subscribed. Okay, make sure you hit the notification bell, and it won't be by accident next time. If you just give 20 to 30 minutes notice, I get notification from YouTube that you were live, and I need to pick up before I could hit send. Okay, I'm going to do that. Jackie Love, I'm getting the message. I will make sure that we give some advance notice. Thank you for that. Irvin, I have a Surface RT. Microsoft now has rendered it a brick. Oh, man. I worried about that with the different operating systems and the Surface RT and the pricing. And I'm sorry to hear that. What do I think of 5G? Faster's better. Faster is better. And it's 2:35. I hear Shannon downstairs. I think we should call it a day. Let's get on with the day. Guys, thanks so much for all of the comments and the conversation. We will see you again next Friday for more AMA. In the meantime, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Monday, we have a video coming out about Google Keep. And on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about writing tools. So we have those videos on Thursday, sorry. And on Wednesday, we have our Webinar Wednesday coming up, which is all on, we're going to be talking about disconnecting, actually taking a little bit of a digital holiday. And Vicki McLeod is going to be joining us for that. So till then, thanks so much. Have a great weekend. It's a long weekend, at least a long weekend here in Canada. I imagine it is for others. Stay safe. Enjoy your weekend. Till next time, have fun storming the castle. Now I have to find out how to stop. There it is.